Hello folks, you've caught me right in the middle of chopping up kale for the green part of my dog food. I like to keep my dogs really healthy. I thought I'd just tune in with everybody for a couple of minutes. First I just want to thank, I'd like to thank everyone that supports me in any way that they do, getting tattoos, coming, hanging out, just sharing their energy. And then more recently, a handful of people who have commissioned me to do paintings for them. One for a sort of bear medicine spirit animal painting, and one for a rare owl from Hawaii, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but Pueo, I think is something along the lines of it, but it's a very rare owl. Most people in Hawaii supposedly haven't seen it or haven't seen them often. So I have Eiley and Sharon, who have both commissioned me for these paintings, and I just want to thank them very much, because it's especially at the beginning of my sort of getting back into my painting as a career, I guess you call it. It's so supportive for those people that put their faith in what I can do before they've even seen me do it. And commissioning me like that, and it just gets the motor running. So anyways, I get to my thoughts that I had for the day. Well, I got them while I was chopping this kale. And I'm thinking about tattooing, the way I've experienced it over my lifetime, and my clients. I mean, everyone's had different experiences. And I was thinking about how, my good friend Lisa Beretta, who wrote the book Conscious Ink, I was thinking about her as well in our conversations, and Lisa had just let me know that there's a good chance that, coming up soon, this month, most likely she'll be interviewed on Coast to Coast Radio, and I might be on there with her, we'll see. And I was just thinking about the depth of understanding of what a tattoo can be, the way I see it at least, and also the mass flow of like how big tattooing has become commercially everywhere. Like it keeps getting more and more and more, and of course the risks, with the good and the bad, the risks of the over commercialization, the busyness, and the competition and so on. I mean, the good side is that machines and equipment get perfected, which helps the industry, and you do get a lot of very, very good tattoo artists that come out of the mix. But I was thinking about the concern of, before we've even grasped or developed the heart of the tattoo experience and what it can be, and what I've glimpsed just the surface off, I believe. I think it's so much more. And I've always believed that this big surge of tattoo popularity is not just the commercial side, and it's not just a fad. There's always aspects of those things. But I feel that, and I have always felt that that's just the surface of something underneath, an undertow, an undercurrent, that is, I believe, part of a healing process, or planetary, whatever makes us part of the planet as human beings, and different than other animals, no more, no less. But I think that the tattoo experience is part of who we are, our birthright, all of us. Not one time period, not one color, not one culture, but I really do believe that it's in our roots, all of us, this connection with the tattoo experience and its healing potential. And so the thing I want to share, that's nothing new, I've mentioned this before, but the thing that I want to share I was listening to Michael Tazarian, a lot of his talks, and he goes into ancient history and occult history and things that kind of overlap with what I'm interested in with the tattooing. And I thought, along the lines of many people actually, who believe there were ancient civilizations here before the way that science has proposed that we've just evolved, and that somehow at some point there was something else that hasn't been recorded. And people believe this, whether they think of the pyramids or they think of a lot of ancient civilizations and why they had certain advanced technologies, or at least not that we saw, but advanced ways they must have of doing, like building pyramids or Stonehenge, all these things where we can't figure out how they, as they were like cavemen, could possibly do all these fantastic things. So there's a glitch in that program, the way the theories science believes things were in the past, and as we know, history is also kind of manufactured and distorted. So with that in the background, my fresh thought was related to the tattoo experience and how it is our birthright in some way. And I was thinking that our most ancient recorded examples of tattoos being practiced, and all of them go, and this all academics, all archaeologists and anthropologists will agree that it was more of a medicinal application, the tattoos back then. So tattoos had more of a healing aspect to them in ancient times than they did in contemporary times. We're just starting to get back into that idea now. So I was thinking along the lines of, well, what if there were ancient civilizations that we just haven't uncovered somehow? Maybe they were physically on this dimension, you know, stories about Atlantis lost and things like that, which I never gave any credibility to in my younger years. I now just open my mind to all possibilities. Or maybe there were other dimensional shifts that opened up doorways, you know, so there were slightly different dimensions in a similar world or different worlds, like who knows. But all I'm saying is that maybe there were more developed civilizations before us, and then we lost a lot of this from some catastrophe, something that knocked us down, which we look like we're kind of facing another one of those soon. You know, some people mention about the recorded history of the Great Flood, and Michael Tazarian theorizes that maybe that Great Flood was planetary, and that it left the small amount of people that were left behind surviving very traumatized, and that's the source of a lot of the stuff we're dealing with now. Interesting idea. But anyways, to get to my point, what if there were these ancient civilizations more advanced than us that got knocked down to a few survivors, and then those survivors had to rebuild, and that's all we have in our record is the rebuilding, which we think is the beginning. Well, what if then the tattoo experience, which for me, the best I can uncover as far as tattooing with more depth to it is historical influence, kind of historical and more recent historical information about different civilizations and indigenous groups, tribes that practiced on a much more medicinal and healing and spiritual level. And so I'm thinking now, and it's just a question, what if that is the remnants of something even more developed that disappeared at one time, and the indigenous cultures were the ones that were able to hold this little bit of surviving information, wisdom, not just tattooing, but in the wisdom of nature and everything else. What if that was just the saved little remnants of something that was fully throughout all civilization? It's just an idea, but that's what I was thinking of when I was contemplating how do I get across the little bit of knowledge I have of the tattoo experience, the way I see it and the way a lot of my clients have experienced it, when it's so difficult to put into words. You know, I can get into little scientific elements of things and things that seem to mirror what I'm seeing happen, but really that's all that is. It's seeing parallels and complementary elements in medicines and systems that work well with the tattoo experience, but really what it gets difficult to get across is that those are the mechanics, those are the parts, like with a car. But what about the heart of the tattoo? There is something that is alive when activated and doesn't do anything, as we can see when someone's doing something without any depth or purpose or direction. But when there's heart activation in some manner, something sprouts, something comes alive, something grows, and there's something extremely healing about it. Now, those healing experiences are still, I think, only the tip of the iceberg of what could be developed and revived, possibly in the case of where something might have already been going on that we're now still reviving. So what if we are remembering who we are, who we could be, what the tattoo experience can be, and other things, our connection to the planet, right on the brink of seeming possible extinction? Are we, do we have the courage to step deeper into these areas and realize ourselves, and to pursue these experiences, such as the rawness of the tattoo experience, but with an open heart and an open mind, and allow to not get caught up in the fad aspect of anything? You know, it's so easy to get swept away by commercial, the commercial side of things, and miss the whole depth and heart of what it is. So I'm just inviting people to really consider that, and especially if you're about to get a tattoo, consider how you could make it a deeper experience for yourself.